Having answered a question from the scribes and chief priests about paying taxes to Caesar, and then a question from the Sadducees about the resurrection from the dead, the Lord Jesus now asks them a question. This is Luke chapter 20, verses 41 to 47. But he said to them, "How can they say that the Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool.' David thus calls him Lord. So how is he his son?" And in the hearing of all the people, he said to his disciples, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and love greetings in the marketplaces and the best seats in the synagogues and at the places of honor at feasts, who devour widows' houses and for a pretense make long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." So the Lord Jesus asks a question about the Christ, the Messiah. The Messiah is a Hebrew word, the Christ is a Greek word. They both mean anointed one. The Jews understood that throughout the Old Testament of the Bible, their scriptures, all through their scriptures, God promised to send the Messiah. And their scriptures tell a lot about him. The Jews understood that the Messiah was descended from David, King David. The expression David's son means a descendant of David's. That belief was correct, and God had told David that his throne will be established forever through his descendants. The prophet Isaiah later confirmed that the Messiah would reign on the throne of David and over his kingdom. Yes, the Messiah, the Christ, is David's son, his descendant, we'd say. In their scriptures, they had a book of Psalms. Psalms are poems and songs of praise to God. And the Jews recognized that number 110 in their book of Psalms, in their scriptures, Psalm 110 was all about the Messiah. This psalm tells us that he would be king and would rule. The Jews believed that the words of the psalm were all about the Messiah, and they were right. And the Lord Jesus now quotes from this psalm, Psalm 110, which was written by King David, and it starts, "The Lord said to my Lord." This is God speaking to the Messiah. The Lord is God. My Lord is the Messiah. "Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool." And the time is coming when God will defeat all the Messiahs, the Christ's enemies. But notice that David calls the Messiah my Lord. If he's David's descendant, how can he also be his Lord? No one attempts to answer this. Jesus just leaves it with them to think about. But there can really be only one answer, and that is that the Messiah, the Christ, is God. He existed before he was born into this world. So Jesus is reminding them of what he'd shown and told them previously, his deity. He's God. When Jesus answered the Sadducees' question about the resurrection, some of the scribes recognized a good answer and told Jesus that he'd spoken well. But the Lord Jesus would not accept flattery. He didn't moderate what he needed to say because they publicly recognized good words from him. "Beware," he said to his disciples, but in the hearing of the people too. "Beware of the scribes. Be careful of them. Look at what they're like. They're full of pride and self-importance. And they were hypocrites. They use their religion to cover their selfishness and greed. And the Lord denounces them. These scribes would receive greater condemnation, greater punishment than others." Well, here's something for us to think about. We're all in danger of pride and self-importance, and the Lord Jesus denounces them.